Hello, KTSU. I did something different. Hello, KTSU.
Now this is going to cause a
Hello, can you
slight
hear me?
Yeah, can you hold on, darling? We're going to come straight to you right after this break, and it's almost over. So stay right there.
You can
Okay.
still listen to your community station online.
No, I didn't give you any music. I just went straight to the
Or
acapella.
you're tuning in
Can you hear me?
at 90.9 KTSU.
Oh yeah, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're getting ready to go on. We're just in here talking, okay?
Locally.
All right, hold on.
Community station 90.9 KTSU. Stay tuned.
Join in on the conversation. Call 713-313-4354. That's 713-313-4354. Welcome to The Shift.
I'm going to be talking about the top things to be aware of when you are over 60, especially if you're in love, finding love, or dating again after 60. I'm going to be talking about those top 3 things. And for 40 and 50, I think we're only going to give them top 2. But 60, oh my goodness, we're going to talk about it. And I'll get into number 1 in just a moment. But I got a caller, an early caller. So caller, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
I am so happy that you have chosen that topic, whoever it gave me. I'm 67.
Okay.
But I look like I'm 35. I act like I'm 35.
You sound like it too.
And I am at a point in my life where I'm financially sound. So the only thing I have in this relationship that I've just started, we started in December, and the only thing that I want is just love and companion. We both financially are sound. Our kids are grown. We have grandchildren. And so we have respect and we have a love chemistry, perspective on our life. So I don't know what 3 things you're going to do.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question before you go?
Sure.
In other words, what was the first, when both of you met, how did you meet, by the way?
First of all, I'm a proprietor.
Okay.
So I own a lot of rental property. So he was my electrician. So I never looked at him from that perspective, okay? But when my husband has been deceased now for 6 years, going on 7. His wife previously died, going on a year. So, and then actually a dog brought us into connection, and then he started talking, and it seemed that he was lonely and everything. So I invited him for Christmas with my family, and sure enough, he came. Then I invited him for New Year's with my family. Sure enough, he came. And it's just that we just started talking after that. He's a cowboy.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
I'm
wow.
used to a cowboy because I'm a professional educator.
Okay.
With an entrepreneurship part of my life, okay? And and then he's his own boss as an electrician, but it just started from there. And the chemistry is so strong in that, like I said, all I want is love and companion.
Okay.
He's financially sound and I am.
Okay.
And so we're dating, and I like it. It's like taking you back to when you were 35 years old. Okay?
All right now.
So can I ask a question? How long have you been dating?
We literally started dating officially in January.
This January, 2019.
And this year, 2019.
Wow.
The family relationship began with him coming to dinner in December, for the December Christmas dinner, and then for the January New Year's dinner, and then it just started after that.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Started going to, just going to movies and going out eating, and finally he took me to the rodeo this past Saturday, and he brought a bike because he was a cowboy.
Because he's a cowboy.
He was a cowboy,
Oh,
and yet he's still in the ranch business, horses and cattle and stuff.
So you're learning something new. So you're learning something. So you're learning something new, aren't you?
I'm learning something new. Yes, I am, and it's an experience that I had never, as a professional educator and an entrepreneur in my business, I had never thought about looking at the cowboy perspective. I used to date a cowboy.
Well, now you got a new perspective. Listen, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate your time, and make sure you call me again, okay?
I shall, and guess what? I am an alumni of Texas Southern University.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now,
Wow. Let me just say this. When you call in, I'm going to put you on hold. Don't hang up.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to put you on hold. You'll hear like it will sound like I'm answering the phone, but I'm not.
Okay.
I'm literally putting you on hold, but you do have another caller, Dr. Montgomery.
listen, but let me tell you before that caller comes on.
Uh-huh.
One of the points.
I'm gonna be that caller.
You gonna be? Don't go away. Don't you leave me.
Hold on, darling.
Stay right. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Stay right where you are. Because I want to get this point. There's one point of love after 60, and it's the number one point. Do not expect the new person you meet to be the same person that is gone.
Totally different.
Totally
different.
Yes. So let me go to my next call. Hello, caller. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
Loving this.
Is this me?
Yes, ma'am. You're on the air.
Good morning to everyone. I'm in a relationship that's very special.
Okay, you've got to tell me that age. You've got to tell me the age bracket.
Because I'm looking for that person with me is just angel. We have been dating 24 years in April. He's married.
That's a long time.
Okay? Okay, he's married.
Who's married?
The other party.
Are you married to the other party?
No.
Okay.
We're speaking of a relationship, right?
Well, we're talking about a relationship. Yeah, we're talking about a relationship. So tell me about it.
Absolutely. We've been dating 24 years next year.
You talking about a married man?
Yes.
Yes, she's talking about a married man now. We're getting ready to talk about it.
This is very rare. Because those type of relationships don't last that long.
So tell me.
But the passion stays.
Does that bother you? Does it?
Of course it does. Of course it does. But when you're in a relationship and you can make mad passionate love for that many years, something special.
Is it something special? I mean, a lot of people can make passionate love for that many years, but we're not talking about love.
In a relationship like this.
Well, no, we're not talking about love. We're talking about relationship. You said relationship. We're talking about more than one relationship, because if you're in a relationship with him, you're also in a relationship with his wife.
Yes.
But she's not. I'm not concerned with her.
But
you have to be.
Donna.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, Donna, you always interrupt. That's what I like about you.
Well, that's fine. Donna always. No, we have our conversation here. No, I want to focus right here on you, because you're in a relationship not only with him, you're in a relationship with the wife. How do you feel about that?
She's not.
Oh, yes, she is.
Is she not?
Of course, you're.
Not at that moment. Not at that special moment.
I promise you that at that special moment.
Not for those few minutes of passion, she's not.
How much you want to bet she is? I can prove to you that she is a part of that special moment of passion. You're just not thinking about her. She may not be thinking about you, but she's in there. As long as she's in there with him, she's there with you. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about that threesome?
I don't. I can't focus on that.
So that means you're compartmentalizing this. So you're compartmentalizing this.
Never lasted that long if my mind was focused on her.
Yeah, but you're.
The fact that you don't something somebody I'm able to share with somebody. That's very rare.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's a threesome. That's a threesome.
That's fine.
No. Oh, you like the threesome?
No, my part is the passion.
Oh, so you're talking about. So you're talking about the feeling. You're talking about intimate, the sexual feeling. That's what you're talking about, the feeling, right?
Well, when that comes along, you got happiness.
Well, that's not a relationship. It's a relationship.
Some people have no happiness. Some people carry along and have nothing to say anything.
Tell me something. I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to let you go. Don't you want more?
Of course I do. But I'm in a position to say thank you for what I do have. Because some people don't have that.
But do you want more? But do you want more? Because in order to have more, then you have to let go of some things in order to get more of something? Well, I want you to think about that, okay? All right, I want you to think about it. Think about it. Think about it. I got to go.
Can you say this about KTSU?
No.
Can I say this one thing? But I think George Nelson, he taught me how to read the news. I used to do a lot of news at KTSU, but when you had to read the meeting, do you read it?
Okay, well, we got to go. Well, I got to go because my other calls are pushing me, and you're changing my subject. Think about that. You got to get out of one thing to get into another thing.
That is so.
Donna.
You know I'm speechless, right?
No, I had to kind of say, Donna, hold off.
I had to turn my microphone.
Yeah, I know you did. I saw you push that button. You have to be gentle because people call from so many different angles.
Yeah.
See, and that's number 2 on love over 60. You have to use the wisdom of your age
and your past
experiences.
Yes.
You're gonna have, there comes a time before you can move into this next phase of your life. At 60, you have to stop and look at yourself, your past mistakes, what you're in, because ultimately it is going to take its toll. You know, and when I talk to my callers, I don't sit here to judge anybody's life. That's you could have the tendency to do it, but I'm not here to judge anybody's life.
Right.
Nor am I here to tell somebody this is that. Everybody has their own opinion, but the facts are still the facts. You're in a relationship with somebody else who's in a relationship.
We have one more caller before break.
Hello, caller. Before I go to break, come on, talk to me. What's on your mind?
Yeah, real quick. You caught my attention when you said when I was a certain age, I acted a certain age. But when I turned 60, I started acting like I was 30. And I'm saying that to say this. I'm 58.
Okay.
And I found myself going to the high school basketball games last week, and I seen a lot of my old classmates from the 70s. And some of these people still act in 2019 the way they acted in 1978, and it was just amazing. And I seen a young lady, she's almost 60 years old, but she dressed more, what word can it, hoochie, than a 18-year-old daughter.
Well,
so
try provocative.
Yeah, provocative. So my thing is, man, why do people still feel like they can do the same thing at 50 and 60 that they did when they were 17? Because it's ridiculous to see a 60-year-old woman going to the rodeo talking about she looking at the cowboys and she old enough to be their grandmother. I'll hang up and listen. And Donna, I miss you, Donna from Cincinnati.
Hey.
Oh, you're from Cincinnati? Is he from Cincinnati?
Yes.
Oh, that's an Ohio homeboy.
Yeah.
See, all of us, and that's
We all,
from
all
Ohio.
3 of us in the
Down here
Buckeye.
in Texas. Listen, you can call the number 713-313-4354 when we come back from break. And, of course, you can always reach me at the Shift 90.9 Gmail if you want to send me an email, or you can call us. Boy, these last callers just caught me.
And we're also live on KTSU 90.9 Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yes.
So you can see all of our facial expressions when these calls come in.
That's Dr. Montgomery.
KTSU 90.9 FM, your community station. See you on the other side of this break.
Ed Montgomery will be right back.
I mean, I thought I was listening to an episode of Confession.
KTSU.
Yeah, I'm calling to talk about the relationships of the older people.
Yes, hold on, please, and we'll come to you right after break, okay? Hold on.
It's a night of
She got
fun,
me on
music,
that.
and scholarships for deserving Texas Southern University students. Join us for the 3rd
I
annual
was listening
Food
to
Fair.
Confessions.
And I had to turn my mic off.
I had to stop. I knew Donna had dug her heels in. Whew. And Donna was getting. I knew what she was going to do.
Where's Wash? I'm watching.
Well, you know my show used to come on after Wash.
I know.
So I used to listen to Wash, deal with those all those calls. Wash, if you're nowhere around. So.
How are you, my old friend?
Good to see you, Charles
Good to
Hudson.
see you.
That was Charles Hudson, by the way.
Always.
Facebook.
And Cruise. Their hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. For special financing, Antonio James, 832-416-6666. 602-832-416.
You calling me about that?
Supporting Brooklyn on KTSU 90.9 FM.
Hello?
Join in on the conversation. Call 713-313-4354. That's 713-313-4354. Welcome to The Shift.
Hello, you're back. I'm Ed Montgomery. You're listening to The Shift, and we are talking about love after 60, love before gray and after gray. I don't know how I got into this subject, but it's a good subject. It is getting heated up over here. So I've got a caller online, not online, but on the phone right now. Hello, caller. You're on the air. You are live. What is on your mind?
Thank you. Good afternoon to the panel.
Good afternoon.
I am 67 years old.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And what I have learned over the experience of 3 relationships that resulted in a marriage, if you do not know what love is, and if you don't bring it to the table, you cannot progress.
Okay.
Life progresses with changes, keeping up with the times, and of course God. I have to throw that in.
What is love?
But if you grew up without love in your family, it's going to take you longer.
How do you see love? How do you see love, by the way?
That's a very good question. It's a peace of mind.
Okay.
When you get married in a relationship, I'm talking about a relationship now. You need to listen to your vows. If you can love a person that's disabled, blind, handicapped, which I did have a handicapped husband one time, and he passed away. And once you get over the lust and the youth thing, then that's when life really begins.
Okay.
Because if you get in a relationship and you say you love somebody, but you don't know what you're talking about and you don't know what it is, that's not a relationship.
Okay.
The perfect relationship to be right now is God. I mean, helping somebody I don't know, doing something for my family that I don't have to do, that brings me as much pleasure in my 60s as it did when I was running around being trivial in my 20s.
Okay. So that's where you are, and that's where you are right now. Would you be open? But are you open? Are you dating anyone, or are you involved in anything?
No, I'm not dating anyone right now because after my last husband, my life has become complicated. It's family now.
Okay.
Yeah, they want all my love, and until I can get them to realize that God is my first love, then I'm not ready to move on anymore.
Okay. So where you are right now is the space you need to be in right now.
Yes, it is.
For you. And I think, in other words, that when the time is right, I'm sure other things may open up, but these are things that you're waiting on. You're just trusting every day right now while you're doing it.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And if it opens up, I'm available.
Okay.
I'm willing.
Okay.
But since I have had such a good relationship with love and passion and just living with people, I don't take that for granted anymore.
Okay. So you live to fulfill. So it's fulfilled. So you have a life that's been fulfilled, and you're just living in that overflow right now. Oh, I know where you're.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And that's what happens when you have a relationship. That overflow stays with you, and then you can share it with other people too.
Listen, thank you so much for calling, and I appreciate. I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're pushing me over here. But thank you so much for calling and sharing that with us.
You have another call, Doctor.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
Thank you. I just want to make a couple comments.
Sure.
I'm in the territory. I'm 17.
Okay.
I don't keep up with it.
Okay.
Like I used to. But I look at your conversation from two perspectives: love and attraction.
Okay.
And I agree with the last lady called. She hit it on the head. Love is not about feelings. Okay, love is based on the spirit of God. Scripture says God is love, but what we have to do is emulate that kind of love, and that kind of love is based on the power of what you have to give, and you willing to give out that power to somebody else. Now, when we're talking about that kind of love that that draws that love out of us, then you're looking at attraction. What is that attracts us to make us want to release that? You understand? Like the first lady that called, the first lady that called, she said that she's good all the way around, financially, something like that. Well, that attracts. I've got a woman 72 years old, a valuable, and that woman got on my bus, car, stopping to look at her. She was so fine.
It's attraction. In other words, there's and I'm hearing you, and help me if I'm hearing you correctly. You're saying that attraction comes from within. When whoever you are inside is going to come out ultimately, and it's going to attract some others around you.
Yes, and that's perversive. It's like, I mean, it don't have to be a power. It could be how you look, how a person.
Okay, wrap it up because I got about 30 seconds, so wrap this one up.
And the gentleman that had called a little bit before that lady, when he said he's criticizing some person for finding love, see, he's the type of person that he ain't looking for love. He just wants that kind of feeling where he give a woman pay for it and go by his business.
All right, okay. We gone. Thank you for your call.
Caller, Doctor.
Right, we got another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. You're live. What's on your mind? Hello, you're live.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Mike.
Hi, Mike.
How you doing?
Good.
I'm calling about the guy that criticized a 60-year-old woman.
Yes.
I like to tell him, man, I like me a 60-year-old woman dressed like a hoochie mama, and I'm an old fort, and I'm going to keep on liking an old woman dressing like a hoochie mama. That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, thank you, Mike.
I wish I would have saw her.
You know what, Mike? Thank you so much. Provocative. It's the okay, thank you, Mike. Provocative. That's what it is. Should I say, is it the word provocative or she's dressed appealing, Donna?
She's just dressed in her.
She's just dressed.
She's just dressed the way she wants to dress.
You know, and that's another thing. She's dressed the way she wants to. Yeah. She wants to dress. Now, how the guys perceive it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, see, that's a whole topic.
It really is.
You know, of another show about how we dress or how we appeal or how we appear to people on the outside. But, you know, one guy says, you know, when he said the word, you know, it was like, you know, oh my goodness, you know, how dare she dress like that? But then when this guy said, he said, oh my goodness, I wish she'd dress up more like that. So it's how you perceive or how you see things in life. That was one of the steps, and here's number 2. In other words, of love over 60. That first one was to take inventory about yourself, your mistakes of your past, who you are, to sit there and have a long conversation with yourself. That is probably one of the most difficult things that we can do, is to get quiet enough to have a conversation and to be very open and honest with ourselves. Because when we look into a mirror, although we may see gray hair, although we may see a few little crow's feet or some wrinkles or whatever here and there, things that should be up and down, things that are sagging that we want straight, a lot of different things that you know, folk can fix nowadays. When we look, still, it's the person inside is just as young as that person who's in their 20s. Our spirits are still young. Our spirits are basically ageless, or what we would call our, some people would call their selves, their true selves, or however they would name it. But it's ageless. Even though the body changes, the mind is ageless, and the wisdom that we acquire. So the first thing to do is have a conversation with ourselves. And what mistakes have we made? How do we look at life? And the second thing is, we said, is don't try to find someone who was like the person in your past. Be open to somebody totally new. The lady said she was open to a cowboy. To be open to somebody totally new. And the third thing is, I would, online dating, don't be afraid of people over 60. Online, Donna, have you ever done online dating?
See, I'm gonna talk about that later after I read this. I'm gonna talk about that later. Here's a text message. I'm 61 and I'm dating. I've been married before and I've learned that it's one thing to love someone, but another thing to know how to love someone. You can't make someone love you the way you want to be loved. Some things you just have to accept and keep it moving.
I understand that.
I do too.
I understand some things you have to accept, but I also understand how honest, and I'm just throwing this out there, callers might even call and answer the question, how honest are we with someone else about what we want? About what we really want when we go into a relationship? Are we going into a relationship knowing what we want? Or are we hiding what we want deep inside of us, and then when the person does not give it to us, we wind up with what we consider to be an unmet expectation?
That's the dating after you're gray. After you're gray, you know what you want. At least you should.
But do we settle?
After you're gray,
do we have a tendency to settle because we may think time is short?
Oh, I hope not.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Or we better hurry up and find somebody, or if we miss this boat, there's no more boats coming.
You did that before you're gray. And let me tell you why. Before you're gray, you get in your 30s, this was some light years ago. You know, you had to be married before you were 30. If you didn't get that marriage thing before you're 30, then you're like, uh-oh, I done missed the boat. Not gonna happen. But now that we're dating after we're gray, it's a whole different perspective on that.
Of course it is.
And let me just say this, back to the dating online. I met my officer and a gentleman online.
Really?
Yes. It shocked me, yeah. And talking about dating after after grade, this is totally different. This is totally what I'm not used to, but I love it.
And I think the reason is because all the wisdom of the past, everything, which I think is so important that we get rid of whatever. See, some people's relationships move into the next relationship without the baggage, of course, and some people move in with the baggage. And I think it is so important that the first step of dating again is to look at yourself and decide what's going on with you. You got to have, and then you got to have some good friends too, who will tell you what's going on with you. Because you know we lie to ourselves, and that's the worst lie you can ever tell, is to yourself. Listen, you can call me on the other side. Call me on the other side of this space. And of course, you can always catch us right on KTSU. We're online right now on Facebook, and you can see us live on Facebook. And also, you can reach me on email at theshift90.9 at gmail.com. And you can also call us, and you can get on the air live. Be my co-host for today, for a little while at least, at 713-313-4354. See you on the other side of this space, okay?
Ed Montgomery will be right back on your #1 source for jazz and more on KTSU.
Hello, KTSU
90.9, your community station.
Yeah, hold on, sweetie. We'll get you as soon as we come back from this break, okay?
What's her name?
Let me have your name, darling.
Programming is Sugar's Cajun, located in Missouri City.
Yes.
She can do it anonymous.
You don't want to
give her an anonymous name?
Huh?
I'm just called the Cowboy Dater, okay? Remember
the Cowboy Dater is back. Okay, hang on, darling. Hang on.
That's right.
Sugar's Cajun is located on Township between Highway 6 and FM 1092. Doors open at
Talk back to her? Am I allowed to talk?
Just talking that microphone, but right now she's on the.
Okay, am I allowed to talk to her a second time, or?
Are you?
I don't know.
Because nobody else is.
Oh, she got embarrassed. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I need to talk to the Cowboy Dater.
Yeah. This is her.
Okay, good.
Okay, hang on, sweetie. Here we go.
She's a good call.
Why, thank you.
Hello, I got a call back. We've been talking about her all day from the Cowboy Dater. Hello, Cowboy Dater. You're back on the air. What's on your mind?
Okay, I want to respond
Sure.
to the idea that, okay, first of all, the callers need to know that I was married for 39 years.
Uh-huh.
My husband has been deceased for 6 years. So it wasn't like I was looking for another relationship.
You don't have to explain. You don't have to explain that to that man.
I listen, but he needs to understand
Uh-huh.
that when things happen, you know when it's the right thing, okay? And therefore, one of the characteristics that I do not like in any relationship is a liar. If I find out that you have lied to me, you forget about it. It's over with. So I believe in truth and trust in any relationship.
But let me tell you something, Cowboy Data. You do not have to answer that man about why you are doing what you're doing, because your heart is pure in what you're doing. You don't have no explanation.
Sometimes with ignorance, you do have to explain.
That's right. You're an educator, aren't you?
Very much so.
That's-
And I'm also an ordained minister.
Okay.
So I don't play, I'm serious.
Oh.
To help him understand my perspective on relationships.
Well, you know what? You're a better one on this one than I would have been, because everything you've done above board, and I applaud you for your life. So, thank you so much for your call. Bye-bye.
And thank you. All right.
Okay. I would have never. I wouldn't tell you. Anyway, Donna, what were you talking about? Online.
Online dating. It's scary.
Is it?
I'm
not sure. I
to me
talk to people about it, but I'm not. It's scary.
It is. I was scared about it, and I didn't put my name out there.
Well, you know that's what the third.
I used another name.
You know that's what the third point is of dating and online and things of that sort on over 60. Do not use your name.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
No, don't use your name.
Right, and I went through some things. It was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do this. And then, as soon as I was getting ready to give up, then I met my officer and a gentleman.
Now they're there.
Yeah.
They're there. We're in another age. We're in another type of generation. So online dating is a totally different thing now. It really
is.
For a while, things like up and down and everything, but you just have to be careful. Don't use your real name. Start off, and then after that, take your time with it. Don't say, "Oh boy, he's been so nice." Oh Lord, he's been so nice for the last 3 days. So no, that's not long enough. Take your time. Or if you're a guy, even as a guy, don't use your.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I was okay just talking online, and then he said, "I need to meet you." To see if this
how
is
long?
real.
How long after that? How long were you talking before? Or can I ask you that question?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We were talking 2 weeks on the, everybody busy lives. He has a busy life. I have a busy
Isn't
life.
that kind of short?
2 weeks, and then we decided to meet.
2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that short?
Because you know what?
What?
Because we were actually interested, and then we was like, okay, let's just see if we feel like it's something there. Let's just see if it is. So then when we met, it was like, okay, yeah.
I'm fighting over it. I want to ask you where you all met.
Where did we meet? Best date I've ever had in my life. I told you this is this is totally different.
Donna, where was it?
We met at a mall.
Cool.
We met at a mall. We walked that mall, talking, laughing, holding hands. Best date I've ever had.
After 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See, and that's another thing. You have to. That's where the maturity of after 60 comes along.
Yeah.
Because you have to feel that relationship and who that person is that you're with. And to those that are listening online, listen, just because Donna did it in 2 weeks, I would not suggest that you say, well, let's go meet her in 2 weeks. I would not suggest it. Be anonymous for a while and really, really get to know not only what that person, who that person is on the end, but get to know what it is that you want and be honest with yourself about what you want. You have to say, listen, am I looking for love? Am I looking for a long-term relationship? Or am I just looking? Do I just want somebody to hang out with the movies, to put my head on their shoulder, every couple of weeks or month or so, just somebody to just text every now and then? You have to ask yourself what you want. Because once you know what you want, then you now know what you're looking for. And then you can kind of judge your time, because you don't know who you're going to meet out there. After a while, you fall in love, and they tell you how much they love you, and the next thing they do, they saying, well, I don't have nowhere to live. They threw me out of my apartment and evicted me from my house, and you mind if I can come stay with you? No. Or they might ask you for a kidney, or you don't know. You have to be very careful about what people's motives are. Anyway.
It's different. It is different.
Listen, that's over 60. Now, we talked about after grade, but there's also before grade. Over 40.
Before grade?
Do you remember 40s? What it is when you were 40s, what did you? And I bet you I got some callers out there.
I was married then. I didn't want anything.
You were 40.
I was married at 40. Yeah.
That doesn't, just because you were married at 40 does not mean that there were not things that you didn't want. It just means that you were married. I mean, I'm not talking about.
I was married with young kids at 40. I didn't even think.
So you were just trying to raise them kids.
Hello, and working. Yeah, I was in the whole.
You were not even thinking.
No.
When we look at, I run into a lot of people, and I run into people who are in their 40s and 50s in all relationships. We hear our callers, and some of our callers have some pretty decent, great relationships. I applaud them for it. But everybody's not dealing with decent. I mean, when I say decent, but perfect, no problem relationships. There are people who deal with relationships with challenges. I was listening to a couple of the callers, and in the previous relationships with spouses that passed away, some of them were dealing with spouses who had long-term illness. And that is a very tough challenge. People who may have just gotten married, have been married 2 or 3 years, only to discover that now they're taking care of a spouse long-term. And it is a very tough relationship. How do you deal with it? Especially if you're dealing with a spouse where things are not returned affectionate-wise, and you're having to go, as a woman, you're having to go into a different space in your life. And then we talk about long-term relationships also. We were talking about those. How do you be in a long-term relationship? What happens when your marriage goes past 30 years, or actually past 20 years? It's a long-term relationship nowadays. Well, actually 15.
15. Really.
But what happens? How do you stay in long-term relationships? If you're going to be in any kind of relationship, whether it's married, if you're going to be in any kind of relationship with anybody past 25, 30 years, that person is going to have to know who you really are. And I was talking to just what we call those man on the street conversations with somebody. I said, now what are you looking for in a relationship? And one of the things, that number one thing they say, whether you're 40 or 50 or 60, is to be yourself. I want to meet somebody, just be who you are.
Do you think that dating 60 plus, that you are getting that real person?
I think so. As you get a chance to talk to them and to find out what's been going on in their lives, it's not as much you sitting down telling somebody what's going on in who you are or telling your life. It's getting to read who that person is, finding out who they are. What are their, not only just their likes, or tell me about your family. Tell me about how your perspective on life. How do you see love? Tell me about your hopes. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me about things you have faith in, things you don't have faith in. Getting a person to just talk to you about who they really are. That way, you can kind of get a good understanding about what you're going to be living in. Now, if you're going to have somebody that's constantly trying to change you, say, well, you know, I need somebody who's going to always be this, and somebody who's going to always be that, and somebody who's going to be on time, and you probably going to have a little trouble down the line. But, yeah, it begins with just getting to know who they really are. I look back, and once you come to a place that you can actually say, this is me, with somebody that you're with, and somebody long-term wise, this is who I am, and this is me. And that way you can avoid that little phrase that's going to come up later on if you don't, that say, well, now, baby, you know I love you, but I can't do this no more.
We have somebody on Facebook said that we now live in an ageless society.
Right. Yeah. Meaning what?
Mr. Moulton, you put that on Facebook when you said we now live in an ageless society. What do you mean by that? So I'm waiting for him to come back.
I'm sure you
and talk to us.
And I believe that ageless society, of course, we're talking about who we are inside, is ageless. But dating and things of that sort, there are people, age-wise, who we're with, the age of the people that we're with. Just because you're 60 does not necessarily mean you're going to be with somebody who's 61. Or because you're 65, you may not be with somebody who's 65 or close around your age. You may be with somebody that's a little bit younger. They might be 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, and on down. You might be with somebody who's older than you because you just happen to want to be with that particular person. Listen, we get to know people all the time, and as we get to know people and get to know ourselves and know the people that are around us, I think we are drawn to what we see of ourselves in someone else. We actually, in a sense, almost fall in love with ourselves. That's why we are comfortable with other people we see ourselves in. Listen, I'm coming back on the other side of this break, and if I got any callers, give me a call. I've been sitting up here just chatting away with you. That number is 713-313-4354. And I'll see you on the other side of this space right here on KTSU 90.9FM, your community station. Like, you got me talking today. I'm just talking.
We'll be right back with your number one source for jazz and more on KTSU 90.9, your community station, the heart and soul of music.
Hey, this is very clear.
My callers are not talking to me today.
No, they're listening. Because you're putting out some good stuff. When people don't call, that means they're listening. They're soaking in everything that you're saying. Hello, KTSU.
Yes.
Well, hold on,
I
darling.
was calling.
Hold on, we're gonna come back to you.
What's the name there? What's the name?
What's your name, sweetie?
Okay. Willie.
Okay, hold on, Willie.
Okay.
Ha-
Gymnasium in Huntsville, Alabama, and that's the bottom line. Tigers.
I'm back. I got Willie on the line. Willie, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the conversation that we're having, and it sounds like we're talking about, the problems that you run into when you're trying to work out a relationship in their age, 45, 50.
Yes.
And it appeals to me that that those problems seem to be inevitable because I think that when we try to get into a relationship at that age, it automatically sets up for problems because of baggage and things like that. But I think that it also displays, even just by the fact that we talking about this conversation, it shows that God's design for marriage is the right way. Because if we follow His design, which means that we meet, we develop a friendship, and over time, as God sees fit, you come together in holy matrimony. But it just
everybody doesn't think that way. Now everybody doesn't think that way. And
no, but now listen to this. I'm talking about the problem that it creates when everybody don't. See, because I didn't always at some time in my life think that way also, because I'm an older man now. But as a young man, I failed to listen to take the opportunity to find a good woman, because I spent my time screwing around, going from one woman to the other.
How old were you? How old were you? Tell me, how old were you when you finally decided that wasn't the direction you wanted to go?
Well, that was, I had to get to an old age before I come to that.
Well, don't you tell me you just figured that out last month or something like that?
No, not that. It was a little bit longer than that.
A little bit longer than that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, sir, is that the fact is that screwing around like that. First of all, I missed out on an opportunity that God might have been giving me to a young lady that I could marry and grow older with.
Now that's a good point. And you got about 20 seconds now. You got 20 seconds.
Okay, and then don't have to meet a lady 45, 50 years old, and then have to deal with the issues that comes up that should have came up years ago.
Wow.
And I'm just saying that it takes time for a relationship to develop, and for you at that age, there's a possibility that you're in a hurry.
I got you. I got to go now. But listen, that point that point right there was a good point to cut off on. So thank you so much for calling.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. See, it's about learning. We're at the tail end of the show, and if I can say anything. And there are people, we have so many different thoughts and processes of how people feel about God in their life. About some people don't think it, they just think it's a natural process that they go through. Everybody has their own thought process and their own beliefs. But if there's one common thread that I'm hearing through our radio shows and all the different shows that we have, and that is how people feel about themselves. And we have a tendency to look for ourselves in other people. When we're looking for love, we're actually looking to fall in love with ourselves. When we sit down and somebody says, "Oh my goodness, he makes me laugh," or if a young lady says, "Oh, he's so attentive to me," I think within us there is that need, that we do need that attention, and that's what we hear. That's what we want to hear. And we're actually falling in love with ourselves. So I think that first thing is looking for yourself, and looking to fall in love with who you are in someone else, which means you've got to get to know who you are. So, Donna, this was a good show.
It was.
I know we had to tail end.
You know what? I just love what you just said. Yeah, because it all begins with self. Everything begins and ends with self.
Look, listen, before we go, make sure if you want to get in contact with I get the chance, opportunity, you can go to my website, edmontgomery.net. Every week I get the opportunity to talk to people and to encourage people and to lift people and to help them to understand the power of that spirit inside of them. So you can catch me anytime on a Sunday morning at 10:30. Just look up my websites, go to my Facebooks, you can find me there. But more than anything, remember that you are unique. And sometimes circumstances will come up in your life, and there will be things that will hurt your feelings. You might get hurt, but you can't lay down and let that thing defeat you. Maybe you got to get up. You got to get up. Dust yourself off. Wash your face and comb your hair. Because there is something else out there for you. You are not too old. You are just beginning again. So put your dancing shoes on and get ready to dance your life into a brand new future. Listen, I'm going to see you next week right here on the shift. Thank you so much for joining us. KTSU 90.9 FM, your community station. See you next week.
My love is alive. I love this ending song. I love it. It's just like, and what you just said, oh my God.
I know it.
Great show, great show, great show.
I hope it touched a lot of people, so.
It did, but you want me to tell you something?
Yes.
Oh my God. For 24 years.
You know, one of the things I resist, and that is, I would see. I've done radio like that. I would have broke in. I could have broke into that and just did a situation with her. And but I would have been on that call for another 10 minutes.
Yeah, cause she. But and you know what I thought about?
It almost sounded like a plant call at first. Because I couldn't live in nobody in 24 years.
But see, my thing is, was she reaching out?
Oh yeah, she called me because she wanted out. That's what I was getting ready to do. She called me because she wanted out.
Community station, 90.9 FM, KTSU, Houston.
From Texas Southern University, this is KTSU News for Monday, March 4th, 2019. I'm Anthony Gallion. Here's the latest. Thurgood Marshall School of Law Acting Dean Gary Bledsoe has a few words for any considering law school. He spoke with KTSU about the reasons one should consider Thurgood Marshall.
We produce the, in my mind, overall, when you look at the criminal and civil context, we have arguably the best trial lawyers in the country. We are a school that is associated with Justice Thurgood Marshall. And I think that in terms of justice and things of that nature, there's a certain je ne sais quoi when you go to Thurgood Marshall School of Law.
Mr. Bledsoe says it's his desire to give back to the students of Texas Southern University. Seeing the First Lady was a dream come true in the Houston area this weekend. Former First Lady Michelle Obama sat before a sold-out crowd at the Toyota Center. Mrs. Obama had an intimate, honest conversation about her journey. She recalled memories from her childhood days in South Chicago to her role.
Oh my God, Donna, great show, and you are still
59 years ago today, Texas University
thank you.
played
We still
a
love
role in
on
ending segregation laws in Houston. School Communications Assistant Dean Servino Sandifer Walker spoke to Holly.
We didn't say anything bad.
And John Bland about that
I
day.
gotta figure out to tell Ernest how to turn this off.
The sit-in.
Thank you for that. Oh
Attending
my goodness.
HBCUs across the nation who held sit-ins played an integral
No,
role
we didn't say
in the
nothing
Civil
bad.
Rights Act of 1964 being
Did we?
passed into law. For more information on
Facebook,
these
we didn't say
stories
anything
and
bad,
others,
I promise.
follow us
We
on
just
Twitter
talking
at
after you shut
KTSU News. Currently,
No, the mic is open.
Yeah, it's still rolling on Facebook.
The mic is always open, Donna.
I'm Anthony Gallion,
Always remember
graduate
that.
student at Texas Southern
Luke
University,
Perry did at
UCH
52.
Jones School of Business.
So you didn't get a chance to see the president, Michelle Obama? I would have looked. I knew that interview was a little bit higher than my pay grade. I should have called the general manager. So can you get me in to do an interview?
That's who you should have called.
So can I get a phone interview? At least a phone interview. Didn't think about it. Facebook, what did you think about our show today?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. Oh, he finally came back and said, when he says we're living in an ageless society, he said that means that people of all ages are now dating.
I know what?
50s are now dating younger men.
Yes. Okay.
How you doing, sir?
Well,
that was good conversation today. Oh, let me shut it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
now you do know we live now.
I see.
Our mics are open.
Okay.
Our mics are wide open, so. Now you don't think that was a plant, do you, Donna? That lady that called, you don't think that was a plant?
No, I think she wanted help on how to get out of it.
Yes, she needed help.
That's what I think she was looking for. That's just me.
Oh, so you getting ready to come out? I gotta come out. If I had a 2-hour show, she'd have come out of there. If a certain GM might have been able to say, now will you talk